we all need like big sister like you
Mm.
know, who, or a mother, who empowers us to be this way because we are taught to not to make ourselves small, to placate, to appease, to get out of the situation
To be
as
prey,
opposed, what's that?
to be prey, my love. We're taught to be prey. Hi.
Hi, honey.
Hello. Long time no see.
How are you?
I'm so amazing. How are you doing?
Listen, you are freaking amazing. Like, I don't even, like last week I got like 10,000 new followers from a video I made, which brought the trolls. And I'm just so impressed how it just doesn't seem like you let it get to you at all.
You know?
And that is what I'm working towards for sure. Although they happen in my real life too. So I guess that's what I've been dealing with.
Yeah. Can we start with that?
Yes.
I want to give you some tips on that, just because, I mean, we can swing back to it if you want to dive into some other stuff first.
No. Okay. So I had a date recently with a man who was very, very attractive.
Yeah.
Like, I literally thought, if I'm going to fail, it's going to be this man. Like, if I'm going to fail, it's going to be him. But I did things precautionary so I wouldn't fail. Like, for example, I didn't shave my legs. I didn't shave my cooch.
Right?
I planned a second date right afterwards. I was and if it wasn't a second date, I would have planned something with my girlfriends, but I set up a safety net so I wouldn't fail.
Good.
Although I didn't necessarily need to, because once I went there and he opened his mouth, I was like, oh, leg shut. But he dove right into, I asked him, how long have you been, you know, out of a relationship? And although we had talked about that previously, texting and phone call, it was like 5 or 6 months ago. But then as we were talking, he still had been reaching out to her like every week since. And I was like, oh, yeah. And I was very upfront and clear. I'm like, oh, yeah, you're not over her for sure.
Yeah.
And, you know, we had a conversation for 4.5 hours, which I know that makes other people say, why would you waste your time and give him free therapy? Honestly, number one, I didn't have anything else to do. Number two, I enjoy talking to people and helping them work through their issues. Number three, he was in therapy and talking about all those things that his therapist was helping him with too. I found that to be interesting. I don't know. Like, I was fine and content sitting there talking with him about his past. It felt like I was making a friendship.
Right.
And other things came up as well that I don't really need to mention, where I just consistently got no boner. Okay. Like, it was just he was a boner buzzkill.
Right.
But it wasn't until we walked out to the car, and I did not share this publicly on TikTok because, I get emotional about it. I had told him my 3-month rule, and anyway, he asks me, God, I don't even know how it came up. He asked me, do you think I'm attractive? And I was like, yes, I do think you're physically attractive, but I'm not sexually attracted to you because you're not available, you're emotionally not available, and we just would not be a good fit. So I'm not sexually attracted to you, but you are a handsome person. And I don't know if that triggered something in his mind to make me want to be sexually attracted to him, but I hugged him goodbye, and when I hugged him, he grabbed my ass. he slid his hands down my dress and grabbed my ass. And then he stepped back and he said, "Oh my God, you're not wearing panties." Because I was wearing like a t-shirt dress from
Yeah.
here to my knees, but you could feel through, I guess, to see there was no line. And I was like, that's not for you to know. So something changed. I could see it in his eyes. Something changed like "Urgh," and he pushed me against my vehicle, grabbed my ass with one hand, grabbed my face with the other hand, and started trying to like breathe or kiss down my neck or something. So I had to physically push him off of me and tell him that was completely unacceptable. I'm not that girl. And he was like, "Well, let's go back to your house and get in your hot tub, da da da." And I was like, "Absolutely not." So I get in my car and he texts me and says, "Well, what are you going to do if I just follow you home?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, I have a shotgun and I'm a really good aim." And he says, "You would never even make it to your house." Uh, so I'm just struggling.
Yeah.
Did I do something wrong? How could I have handled it differently?
Yeah.
Obviously, it was our first time getting together. And, this one woman has commented on my post today and she said, "This happens to you because you attract it to you. And that is why all this stuff has happened in your life. You attract this to you."
Yeah.
Now, I have considered the laws of attraction and thought about it a lot. I do my mantras and all that stuff, but I'm not really sure if that is the case. I I tend to think you don't attract things to you, but you do allow things. So I can't help that he did that, but I did not allow it.
Right.
And I cut complete ties and moved forward. I can't help, my thought is, I can't help what they do initially. It was my very first time meeting the man. I didn't know he was going to be predatorial. And certainly I didn't allow it anymore. But what do you think about that? Do we attract that? Did I do something to allow that?
So she's partially right. We as women attract all of the things, all of the guys, all of the dysfunction. We will attract it at all of the times because they're all out there and they're all looking at us and they're all wanting us. When women say, "Why do I keep attracting narcissists?" I say, you will attract all the types at all the times. What it comes down to is your selection. So don't blame yourself. When she says you got this because you attracted it, bitch, we attract it all. Okay? Sit down.
Okay.
Sit.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. Yeah.
We attract it all. Sit down. Shut up. Because that's not something to say to you when something happens like that to you. We know we attract it. That's why we have pepper spray. That's why we put the keys between our fingers, because we know we attract it simply by existing. Shut up.
Simply.
Shut up. That was an inappropriate thing to say on your page, given what happened. We know we attract it. That's what makes life dangerous for us. So it's not on you that he was attracted to you. He's going to be attracted to everybody and he's going to prey on everybody. So
Yeah.
let's put that one aside. Okay. Are you good with that?
Well, the interesting thing is about her was she was absolutely beautiful. And she says in her tag profile that she is a divorce coach. And
Mm-hmm.
she said, which I found interesting, because like do you tell all your divorcee women that? Like, oh, this is happening to you because you, anyway, what she said also in her statement was this, I'm a classy woman. So none of those things have ever happened to me.
Oh, oh, congratulations. You got lucky. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. I'm a classy woman. I'm a classy woman, but shit happens in the world. Now, I want to teach you how to stop pushing away that energy. I want to teach you how to be stronger in yourself. I want to teach you how to deal with these people in a more firm way so that it doesn't get as far as it did with this guy. When I
Okay.
hear you tell this story, there's some things that I would have done differently. And
I'm sure.
there's ways that I navigate this world that shuts down that bullshit. I was a stripper for 20 years, my love.
I know.
I'm so good at shutting it down. I'm an
You
expert
are.
at shutting it down because even if I'm in a bikini and high heels, standing in a strip club, that's not an invitation to touch me.
Right.
And so when I went to a table of people and I would lean in between two people and I put my hand on the table and the guy beside me puts his hand on my waist, I went, shoop, and I would like, and I'm not gentle. When I take people's hands off me, it's not in a nice way. And that's something I want to teach you, Holly. I want you to stop being so nice. I want you to be less nice. I want that bitch to come out a little bit more, my love. When he puts a hand on my waist, it's a swoop. It's not a gentle removal. Swoop, right? I swing it off of me. There's some force in that because I
Yes.
listen, when there's force in the first touch at the first offense, they know better than to go for a second one. So in that scenario with that guy, if I would have hugged him, and that's an if, because I don't automatically hug people.
Yeah. What? Okay. So can we just talk about that for a second? Because I don't know if it's patriarchy, indoctrination, or
All of
just
it.
social conditioning,
All of it.
but I I always hug.
Mm-hmm. And we need to
So
stop.
tell me, teach me your ways.
Yes. We as women have been indoctrinated into being of service physically to the males who want access to our bodies. So we feel obligated to give a hug after a date, don't we?
Yes.
I want us to take that off the table. When I do my live streams, people say, what about hugging? What about holding hands? What about a kiss on the cheek? And I say, who? Hugging who? Holding hands with who? A kiss on the cheek by who? Are you going up to people in the grocery store and giving them hugs and kisses? So why does a date get him hugs and kisses? So we need to unsubscribe from a dating culture that tells us women we have to touch them and we have to let them kiss us.
You know where I think for me, my thought is about hugging is if I give him a hug, it lets him know that's all you're getting. Like I think that's what the fucked up thing in my mind is saying. Like, I'm going to hug him to let him know that's my boundary, that's my standard, that's all you get.
But why does
So,
he get anything?
right.
Exactly.
Because I'm a fucking recovering people pleaser.
Because we as women have been indoctrinated into thinking we owe them physicality.
I've been doing that my whole life.
We got to stop. I know, my love. I know. I listen, I'm so here for you. I am so here for you for this. Did you hear how angry I got? Did you hear that forcefulness, that anger? I don't do this for me. I do that for you.
I know.
Yes. Because I want to plant that seed of anger. Anger is such a useful emotion. It
It
is
is.
life. Yes.
Yes. And there's nothing wrong with being angry. Just you saw the post that I made today, and interesting side point. This guy said, you're allowed to be angry, but you should be assertive, not aggressive, and you're being aggressive. And I looked up the definition and
Good.
aggression, and I replied back to him. I said, I'm not being aggressive. Aggressive is threatening or attacking. I'm being assertive,
Mm-hmm.
stating my boundaries and being confident in what I believe. And he's still arguing with me about that.
Yeah.
I think that men really struggle with our anger as women and our assertiveness. And I think that's why we hug,
Yeah.
to give them a little, okay, fine, here, take a hug and let me leave.
Placate.
Placate, that's the word.
Yep. We have been taught to placate, and
Yeah.
we need to stop placating.
Mm.
This is equality time now. It's time for us to stand up for ourselves. It's time for us to take control of our bodies. I say take control of the kiss, right? This whole thing about kissing to see where it goes, I say stop letting that happen. Take control of the kiss. Because when you take control of the kiss, you take control of your environment, right? I say to people, if I come up to you like this, and this is how you learn about me, can you tell if I'm missing a finger? Of course not. You need space to see who I am. So
Yes.
we need to stop placating them by letting them kiss us when they want to, by waiting for them to make it official because we don't have any agency in our own lives, by waiting for
Right.
them to ask us to marry them because we don't have any control over when we get married. And we need to stop placating. Stop hugging after a date because you feel you should, because he showed up. Girl, you showed up too. Stop hugging after a date because he paid for a meal, he paid for a drink. You could have paid for yourself. That was
Yeah.
him showing you something. But was he showing you that he's generous, or was he showing you that he's trying to coerce you? If he's trying to
Right.
coerce you, not getting a hug at the end pisses him off because it was a manipulation tactic.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Social, conditioning is that when we leave each other, there's some kind of like physical touch, whether it's a handshake or a hug or something. What do we do instead?
So if you feel you have to, and the thing is, if you don't like him, don't touch. Like a touch is supposed to be an indication of affection, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
if you didn't actually like him during that date, you just go, okay, bye. Okay, bye. Right? Okay,
Just
bye.
wave them off?
Wave him off. Okay, bye. You didn't like him. There's no show of affection to show you don't owe him anything. If you liked him, If you liked him, you can grab his arm. Hey, it was really great. Thank you. There's some physical touch right there without having to put yourself in his arms. So just, hey, it's
Yes.
really great. Thank you. Grab his, hey, really great. Thank you. Two arms if you want to show that much touch. If you want to touch, arms around his waist. So his arms go over you so that if he tries to go down, you block it up. The only time I hug somebody over and put my arms around his neck, if this is somebody I trust, isn't going to grab my ass. Otherwise, my arms go around his waist, so his arms go on the outside of me, and I can bump his arms up if he's trying to go down.
Why have I never heard this before?
Because
What the hell?
we as women are not brought up in a culture that teaches us how to deal with predators.
Yeah, that's exactly what I could have done.
Mm-hmm. If I gave him a hug and he tried to go down, I would block it back up and I would push him back and I go, what the hell was that? What the hell was that? Don't
Yeah.
you dare go below my waist. What? And I would do that. He wouldn't be getting in close for another touch because you've already shown me I can't trust you. So he
Yeah.
getting within arm's length. Girl, I have kicked a man away from me. I have literally pushed a guy back with my foot, trying to come into my, because he was trying to get that hug in, trying to get in, trying to get in. I'm like, boom. Do not be afraid. Do not be scared to push him back. Don't be scared to get mad. Don't be scared to get, what the fuck was that? No, I gotta go. And then you get in your car and you shut the door and you go. I understand. Listen, America, I understand that this is a culture that you guys have below my border that is more violent, inciting more fear. I get that. But when you start blocking it, when you get better, and I want to swing back around to your TikTok, you're getting a lot of vitriol, you're getting a lot of guys. I get rid of the guys. I get very few guys because I get rid of the guys. I don't let them infect my environment. I do my live stream. The moment I got 3 points on my live stream, no kissing for 3 months, 0 fight relationship, and body count doesn't matter. And I write period after that. Body count doesn't matter, period. And I get the guys come on my page going, body count 100% matters. And me and my mods, we just immediately remove them. That's it. You don't get to say a single thing more because you don't believe in autonomy, which means you don't get to exist in my environment. And we're always doing that. So I'm constantly cleansing my environment. I don't try to educate them. And I see you trying to educate them. And
I am.
I'll use them for content, my love, but I don't want your brain to say, I'm trying to change you. I want your brain to say, I use you.
Oh, I don't know. Ugh, okay. Yes, I do know that there have been some men that have come back and apologized. There have been. And so because of them, I continue to try and educate the others to a certain point.
Right.
So
But
I do remember you told me once before, you will make one response, and if they continue to be argumentative, you stop or you just block and delete.
Yes. I don't, you're, and I mean, it's a very wonderful, warm way to be. But you and I are trying to change the world in different ways.
We are.
I'm trying to change the world efficiently and effectively, which means I'm targeting women because the guys who don't want to change, there's nothing I can say.
You're right.
The men who are genuine need to be seen so that the women can pick them and have healthy, great relationships and raise their kids in healthy, functional households. So I'm very efficient in my thinking. The way that I see these guys, the selfish short-term thinkers, is if I'm not going to use you to boost my content, you don't get to exist in my vicinity. Whereas your mindset is, maybe I can help you be a better person. I'm not trying to help somebody be a better person because I know that my power lies in helping women choose the good men. So my focus isn't on the selfish short-term thinkers. And because you're focusing on selfish short-term thinkers, that's an energy that brings more in. So that's where that is taking place. And that's where I want to see you change. I want to see you reject them. Because when you reject them, you get less of it. When you get less of it, because you're no longer attracting it, because you're rejecting it, your peace of mind starts to get better.
Yes. The influx this week of men's comments combined with the ass grabber and the guys who approached. So the other thing is, I was sitting at lunch with my client. I had just came from the gym, so I was in yoga pants and a t-shirt and a ball cap. I was sitting across from her for lunch. We were going over her DJ list and stuff because it's a bride. And these two men approached me, one on this side and one on this side at the table. Did never even acknowledge my client and just said, "Excuse me, do you work out?" And I said, "Yes, I do work out. I'm a power lifter." And I said, "Well, why?" And they said, "Well, we just want you to know that we have thoroughly enjoyed watching your body today, and we think it's fine as hell." I didn't even know that these men were in the restaurant. I didn't even know that they were staring at me. My client was crying because her best friend just recently passed away. So I'm engaging with her so much. I had no idea that these men were staring at me. So I just turned to them, to defuse the situation, because I'm with my client, and I said, okay, well, just so you know, I can deadlift both of you, so thank you.
Yeah.
And they walked out. I don't, that's just, so if I wasn't in a meeting with my client, I could have responded differently and probably more assertively or aggressively, because
Right.
that would have condoned it. Like, what would you have done in that situation?
So I would not have entertained them in any way, shape, or form. So they come up to the table. One of them says, "Excuse me, do you work out?" I would have said, "No." And then turn back to my,
God, you're so much better than I am at this shit. Yes, I should have just said, I'm sorry, I can't talk right now. I'm meeting
no,
with my client.
uh-uh. Look at all the
No?
words you used. Look at all the words you used to say one simple thing, because is not your intention of the message to say no to their attention?
Yes. And then there's this underlying fear that if I don't give them something, they're going to be waiting outside the restaurant for me afterwards.
Stop being afraid to stand up for yourself. When you stop being afraid, you start clearing the pathway. Guys who are predators do not prey on the strong. Predators prey on the weak. You being so accommodating, in my opinion, increases the chance that they're going to wait for you outside.
You are right. I'm taking notes.
Yes. And I wouldn't deal with them. They come up to the table, "Excuse me, do you no." Go back to, do you see how firm that was? That wasn't nice at all.
Right.
At all. And if he goes, "What the fuck's the matter with you?" I would have immediately gotten out of my chair and gone straight to the counter and said, "These people are bothering me. Can you do something about this?" I don't deal with them. I shut it down.
I'm going to get better at this.
Yeah.
I
Here's
am.
the thing. I had to. I had to. I did not stand up for myself. I was not assertive, and I kept getting stepped on. And what happened was my regret got overwhelming. It got guttural. My regret became an animal feeling inside of me that I couldn't fucking stand anymore. I would literally be driving in my car and I would think back, you know, that moment that you think back of the guy who grabbed your ass, and you think back about it and your stomach knots up and you're like, fuck.
Yes.
And I would make noises. That's the strength of the regret. I would make noises. And I started saying to myself, "I'm not letting this happen anymore. I'm not letting this happen anymore." And I started standing up for myself. And let me tell you, Holly, the first 5 times you do this, you are breaking out in a sweat. Your stomach is in knots. You're shaking. Your body goes into cold sweats. You go into every symptom of anxiety and stress and fear you could possibly have. Your mouth goes dry. I'm telling you, the first 5, worst experience of your life, almost, okay? Worst. But when you continue to do it, it starts to get more comfortable and it starts to
Yeah.
get easier. And you start to see that the more you do this, the less bullshit you deal with. Because
I
people
do.
don't mess with you, because you start to emit an energy of power and strength and assertiveness and fuck around and find out. And people don't, because they know it's not going to end well. It will not be favorable for them. They won't get the outcome that they want.
So when you, just to be clear, when you say regret, you are regretting not having standing up for yourself,
Yes, not speaking up for myself,
not
not
speaking
doing
up for
what I
yourself.
should have done.
Have you stood up to yourself for yourself and had them buck back up at you?
No,
Really?
exactly.
Huh.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a lot of regret right now.
I know, my love. It's a good emotion to have because, like anger, it fuels your behaviors. My
Yeah.
intention, my intention is to look back on situations and not wish I'd done something different.
Yeah.
So when a situation comes up, I respond to it the way I know I'm going to wish I had if I look back on the situation.
Right. I want to walk away being proud of myself. That's how we build our self-worth.
Yeah. It's scary at first. It is very scary. Fear of the unknown, right?
Yeah.
You're doing something you haven't done before. It is so scary, but you do it despite the emotion, despite the physical symptoms of the stress and fear and anxiety, the shaking, the dry mouth, the stomach, the cold sweat. You do it anyway. And eventually your body says, you know what? I was really scared, but nothing bad happened.
Yeah. You're right. If we, God, it sucks. Now there is another guy that wrote a comment that said, look, if you're walking around as a sexy, friendly, juicy gazelle, lions are going to come after you. But if you're walking around as a powerful lioness, they're not going to come after you.
Yeah.
However, that is not always true. I I'm trying to figure it out in my head because women in Muslim countries walk around covered head to toe
Yeah.
and men still attack and rape them.
Yes.
Doesn't matter what you look like. But you're saying that it's the energy. It doesn't matter what you look like. It matters what is the energy you're you're admitting,
Emitting.
emitting
Yeah.
of I'm unfuckable with.
I want to tell you a story.
Okay.
It's the Marilyn Monroe story.
Mhm.
So Marilyn Monroe was walking down the streets of New York City wearing a black coat, hair kind of done, a little bit of makeup on, but not done up Marilyn Monroe, right? You could miss her in a crowd. And people were missing her. Nobody was noticing her. And she's walking with somebody who wrote this story. And this person was talking about how they're just walking through New York with Marilyn Monroe. And nobody's seeing she's Marilyn Monroe. They're like, oh my God, what's going on? And she goes, because I can turn it on. Watch this. And she went from just walking down the street to
Uh-huh.
being Marilyn Monroe.
Oh,
And immediately people started recognizing her. Did you just get a
it
chill?
is. Yeah, I did.
Did
It
I?
is, it is an energy shift.
Yes, it is. So predators, guys who prey on women, watch how she moves. A woman who's not practicing situational awareness, if she's stuck in her phone, that's a sign they look for, not like if she's not taking in her environment and making sure she understands who's around her, they're noting that. And they're noting that in addition to body language. Are her shoulders slumped? Does she walk in small steps? This is an indication of a lack of strength and self-esteem, making her easier to prey on. So when you
Mm-mm.
walk with your head high, your shoulders back and strong, and your strides are owning the ground, you think he's going to mess with you?
God, you are a fucking queen.
Yeah,
You're right.
you felt it there, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. I think because of my trauma in the past, I am aware that they can be violent and are violent, and I'm trying to mitigate that and
Yeah.
appease and placate that, as opposed to just being a wall.
Mm.
Isn't that funny? That's a word that all the incels use and call me all the time. Like, I've hit the wall because
Right.
nobody is, but now I'm becoming the fucking wall.
Mm. Yeah.
I want to go beat somebody up.
Go do it.
Go hit the punching bag.
I want you to take your power. These guys in my comment section, thank you for boosting my algorithm. I will make one comment and just leave it there for my followers to like. And I'll let my followers have the conversation with them. Every time they come back and comment, you're boosting my algorithm. Thank you for that. But if I don't like you here, so you see some comments. If you go in my comment section, you'll see some people saying some nasty stuff and whatnot, right? But I have a tipping point. I have a level. You disrespect me, you disrespect my man, you disrespect my people, you're gone. I have standards that I practice on my live stream that I practice in my comment section. And I don't let anybody say any shit in there that I don't like. I look at every single comment. And if I don't like what you said, you're gone. You don't exist. And that's what I say in my mind, right? The dialogue in your head is very empowering. When I take those people off my comment section, when I remove them from my live stream, you see the comments disappear. My thought is, you don't exist.
Yeah.
So take your power for your environment. Guys who disrespect you don't exist. The ones you allow are for your purpose.
Yeah. I love you.
I love you back.
You are, I'm about to start my period, okay? So I am more emotional than normal, but
It's okay.
we all need like big sister like you
Mm.
know, who, or a mother, who empowers us to be this way, because we are taught to not to make ourselves small, to placate, to appease, to get out of the situation,
To be
as
prey,
opposed, what's that?
to be prey, my love. We're taught to be prey.
Yeah, that sucks.
So
Women teach us that.
now we're going to be the predator. Now we're going to be the predator.
Wait, tell me what that looks like.
Well, I don't get eaten. Mama eats.
I love that. Okay, I love that.
Mama eats. I get myself a nice fat meal. Give me your comment.
Yes.
It boosts my algorithm. I don't want you here. I'm going to eat you. One way or another, mama's eating.
Yes. Dang. It's funny because my teenagers, they say that term all the time. She ate that. Like, it's actually a term that teenagers use nowadays. Like, she slayed, she ate that.
Ah, I was cool and I didn't know it.
You were very cool. Okay, so yeah, I haven't even been on the apps this week
Right.
talking to any of the guys. Although it's funny because my mindset right now with these dating apps is I am open to finding love. If it doesn't happen, that's okay too, because I'm creating a life. I have created a life that I love. But what these dating apps are doing for me is they're giving me opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to practice
Yeah.
everything that you've taught me, to practice speaking my truth as a recovering people pleaser, to practice enforcing my boundaries as a recovering codependent. Now I get to practice not placating and not even fucking hugging.
Yeah.
It's funny because so many like people say to me on the comments, like, just stop dating. If it's bothering you, just stop dating. But it's the same feeling to me in my mind as, okay, well, so I went to the gym and I worked out super hard and my muscles are sore. That doesn't mean I'm going to stop going to the gym.
Yes.
I'm I'm still, just because there's pain doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing it. And I'm going to keep doing this until I have 100% confidence in myself
Yeah.
that I am the lioness, that I am not the prey anymore, that I am, have that, what would you call that, non don't fuck with me energy? Let's come up with a name.
Right? Okay.
I mean, empowered,
Yes.
but
It's
I
it's
can feel,
it's just strength is what it
mm,
is for me. Like it's just like I'm strong. I'm strong enough to think about what I want first instead of thinking about what you want. I'm strong enough to think about what I want. Everywhere that I go, like I was at a party this weekend, or the other, anyways, and somebody said, "How are you?" And I go, "Always good." And he goes, "Always good. Oh, I like that." And I go, "Yeah." I said, "I'm always good because listen, this is my life. This is my environment. Where I am is where my life is happening. And if I don't
mm,
like what's happening where I am, then I fix it. Do I need to fix who's
yeah,
around me? Do I need to fix where I am? Do I need to go somewhere else? Do I need to have a glass of water? Why am I not okay right now? Let me figure that out and then let me fix that so that I'm always okay. And I have the strength to do that regardless of who's around me. If I don't like who's in the room with me, I go to a different room. And so I don't care what people think about what I do. I'm always here to please myself. And if you find me pleasing, well, isn't that a nice little bonus if I find you pleasing too? But I'm always here to please myself, not you. So I'm going to think about what I want. I'm going to stand by what I want. For example, I leave a date with a guy and I'm saying, bye. And he goes, can I have a hug? I'd say, no, I'm not ready for that. Now, I want you to pay attention to how few words I use.
you are the queen of that.
Yes, because I don't need to explain myself.
Yeah, I do a lot.
No, you don't. You are, but you don't need to. You
Right.
are because you feel you should, because you've been designed to be prey and to placate, but you do not need to explain yourself.
Yes. So the energy, as you were talking, I was thinking, shit, that's queen energy.
Yeah.
That's queen energy. No one touches me without my permission. No one touches me without consequences. Nothing happens without my permission.
Yeah. But
It's interesting because I can have queen energy in so many different areas of my life, but the right circumstances triggered by the right person, and you're back to that child that was being abused,
yes.
you know?
And this is why I want to come back to the word strong instead of queen. Because what is the queen? She's the ruler, is she not? What does she need to be?
Yes.
What does she need to be the ruler? She needs to be strong.
Yes.
So let's boil it down. I love boiling it down to the essence, the simplicity. A queen can be pampered and be taken out and be put on a throne. Fuck that shit. A queen is strong. Let's be strong.
Okay. I do like to be pampered too, though.
Of course, right? Listen, yes, but we're not talking about being pampered here. We're talking about
Right.
how to deal with people who want to take from you. And how do you keep
Yeah.
them from taking? How do you keep them from taking your mental health? How do you keep them from taking your well-being? You apply standards to your environment. What do you need to what do you need to have to apply those standards? Strength to follow through.
Yeah. It's hard to have strength. Like I feel like you really have to practice it first
Yeah.
before it comes.
That's why I say the first 5 times, I wanna prepare you for the
Yeah.
physical sensations you're going to experience that if listen, I'm saying this now because I don't want you in the moment to give in to the physical sensations and placate because it feels better. It's going to be very uncomfortable for you to break through those bonds, but it needs strength to break through the chains that are holding you back from prey to predator. So, despite the physical sensations of fear and anxiety and stress you're going to have because you break through, right? Look at you, Holly, you're a power lifter. Are there not physical sensations of you getting stronger? Your legs are shaking, are they not?
Yeah.
Exactly. But you power through, don't you? Because you want to be stronger.
Yes.
So that's what you do. Despite the physical sensations, you power through. And ultimately, after time number 5, it's easier. You're not powering through. It's like, hey, I like doing this.
Yeah. You get addicted to the progress.
You get addicted to the goodness that's being created in your life because you're strong enough to stand up for yourself.
Yes. Yeah. I drove away feeling regret
Yeah.
for sure. And a little bit of shame, you know? This is exactly what I needed. Such a good pep talk.
Yes.
Such a good pep talk. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. It's heavy.
I know.
But okay, but you will be proud of me. And I think you saw my videos where I sat down and I did all the papers. I did all my values, which which then led me to write my goals. I wrote everything that you told me to do in the book of who I am as a person. I did 35 non-negotiables. Did you did I read did you see the videos where I read them all to you?
I did not.
I feel like they're all just character qualities. And
Hmm.
yet people are saying like, "Oh my God, that's ridiculous. Like this is way too much." Da, 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 da. And I use the same line that you'd say, which is, "Well, which one would you not take?"
What are you missing? Right? What are you
Right.
missing? Yeah, because it calls them out because they're looking at a list of basic decency, going, "Don't show up with the girl who has a list." And I'm like, dude, I don't show up with a list. I don't have to say I want basic decency, but I'm looking to see if you got it. If you think this list is long, tells me you're missing something, please tell us what you're missing.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I did do like nothing on here is what I am not
Right.
as
Good.
well. I made sure like I am what I ask for.
Yes.
And honestly, like the people that are saying you'll never find somebody to meet your list, then good riddance.
Yeah.
Why? Okay, I know the answer to this. I used to settle for less than this list because I was afraid of being alone, because I wanted companionship, because I thought if I didn't have companionship, I was less than
Right.
some other people who do have companionship and stuff. And I do want a partner because I do want to have sex again. I do. I'm terribly missing that right now.
Right.
It's like 8 months celibate now, which is the longest I've gone since I was 21 years old.
Right.
And I am taking care of myself, but
I know. You're so cute. Yes.
it's not the same,
Yeah, I
you
know.
know.
Cuddling, the physicality, the tenderness, the
Yes.
affection. I know.
So can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah.
If there gets to be a point where I'm like, I need to be fucked.
Mhm.
Okay. Do I just go find someone to do that with for,
Let me ask you this. Are
yeah,
girls interesting to you at all? Women at all? Any by curiosity in there at all?
I've thought about this a lot. And this is a terrible thing to say, but I'm just going to be honest with you. I could definitely be a pillow princess.
You
I'm
right?
just not sure that I could be a giver as well.
Okay.
I don't know. I've never been in that situation.
Okay. So let me throw this out there as a potential thing for you to try that could be relatively safe.
Okay.
So there are couples who look for single women to play with, and they're called unicorns because you're not in
Couples are unicorns
you're
or,
the unicorn
oh, well, we know that's
because
true.
you're a single woman who isn't in a relationship, and you're just looking for something casual without looking to get involved in whatever their relationship is. You just want to have some fun and then make your exit. And so they, as a couple, are looking for a woman that they can play with and just put back on the shelf when they're done. They don't want her to be part of the relationship. They're not looking for an open relationship or a polyamorous relationship. They just want some occasional fun. And so maybe you can go on a kink site where people are looking for that kind of dynamic and say, I'm looking for a couple that I would like to play with as long as they are very good in bed. And I would like to be a pillow princess. So if you're interested, let me know.
You just straight up honestly say that.
The world is your oyster, Holly, in every way, shape, and form. You can
I don't
have
know the world.
anything you want as long as you're brave enough to ask for it.
Yeah, okay, I do believe that.
Yeah.
Okay, I do know about those websites
Mhm.
because of TikTok.
All right.
Let me ask you another question. Because are we running out of time?
We got a few minutes.
Okay, so this goes back to the 3-month rule.
Yeah.
If I'm, dating multiple people over the course of, the 3 months, and a man tells me, oh, he's dating other people too, that's fine. I've had men tell me that. I don't have a problem with that because I don't feel like if I'm the best option, I will rise to the top. Like I don't feel any kind of inadequacy about that.
Yes. Well said.
But what if he is sleeping with women all throughout that 3 month that he's seeing me?
Right.
I do. I don't know how I feel about that.
It doesn't make it obvious that he finds you more interesting than anyone else, does it?
No, it makes me think, oh, you're an instant gratification guy.
You're just looking for bodies. So that's not somebody I would choose for a long-term relationship,
So, but what if I am being a unicorn?
right? So the difference here is
Okay.
you're this guy who's like looking for bodies. He's kind of doing it through the women who are trying to have sex to gain a relationship, right? If he's like, I'm dating multiple people, a lot of women, listen, I did this too, right? This is I speak from experience, use sex to try to gain a relationship, and I've done that multiple times. And
Yes.
there are guys taking advantage of that. So he sounds like somebody taking advantage of women who are using sex to acquire a relationship because they don't know better. I now know better than to try to use my body to get a relationship because I saw how it failed in the past. I didn't end up with the right people.
So, what if he's just having sex with a friend with benefits?
So likely that friend with benefits is developing emotions for him if she doesn't already have emotions for him, which is why I don't recommend you go get a friend with benefits, which is why I turned you towards a couple who are already into each other so that there's no danger of an emotional attachment.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah. And by the way, my husband did friends with benefits with his ex up until 3 months before him and I got together. And she still wasn't over him by the time we got together.
So, what if he was being a unicorn?
Right. So in another couple, right? Because he doesn't want to use somebody who might get emotionally attached,
Mhm.
still wants to have sex. Doesn't that sound like you're being more conscientious that way?
Yes. Can you say it to me in a concise one sentence?
Right?
Like,
Well, for me, like, listen, we're different, Holly. So I'm not addressing sexuality in the same way when it comes to women and when it comes to men, because we don't have the same fertility cycle, meaning we don't have the same sex drive. So when it comes to women, I like to direct you to the men who are looking to be emotionally involved in order to have a better sexual experience versus the guys who are just looking for sexual experiences, not looking to get emotionally involved. For us, when it comes to having sex, we're likely to get emotionally involved if we continue having sex with the same person. So
yes,
it's not a good idea for us to have a friends with benefits because ultimately we try to take that guy that we chose for the friends with benefits and then try to turn him into the man we want to have a relationship with. And that's where we hurt ourselves.
true.
So if
That
we
is very true.
as women are going to go have casual sex, it's a better idea for it to be with that different person and then shut him off, done, finished. That person, shut him off, done, finished. Or
Mm.
a couple, and you guys will turn to each other every now and then to scratch that itch. But they're already into each other, and you're a toy, you're an accessory to their relationship.
Yeah. Never thought about that before.
Yeah.
But the world is my oyster, so
Well, it's your oyster, my love, yes.
let me think about it.
And even in that situation, you get to set the parameters. I don't want this to happen. I don't want to do this with that person. You guys can do this, and I will do this while you're doing this. Like you really get to play it out in your head and then define your parameters. So think about what your comfort zones are, like here's and my advice to you if you're going to do this is figure out your comfort zones, communicate that, and get their agreement. And then if you are playing and there's a question of doing something that you had discussed not doing, if you're in the moment wondering whether or not to do it, my advice to you is to not, and then reconfigure outside of the situation if you want to change it the next time. But don't like think about things when you're in a calm state of mind and then stay
Right,
within those boundaries in the excited state of mind so that you have no regrets outside of the excited state of mind. I wish I hadn't done that.
right. Okay. This hour went by so freaking fast.
It sure did.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
How are you feeling, Holly?
As always, it's phenomenal to talk to you. I I definitely feel empowered. I also still feel some regret and shame that I'm going to have to go work through
Mm,
and forgive myself for.
yeah. And but use it as a fuel.
Yeah,
Like just I don't want to feel this again. I don't want to feel this again. I don't want to feel this again. That's what you say to yourself. I don't want to feel this again. And then you
yeah.
use that to manage the next situation.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Will do.
I love you, Holly.
I love you too.
You got this. By the way, I'm very proud of you because obviously some of your stuff does come across my feed and you see me commenting on it, popping myself in there. Love the text
Yes.
that you're doing, but your definitions of things, the way you're describing things, the way you're teaching people things, I'm so super proud of you. So keep doing the good.
I learned from the best. I'm pretty much am pretty good at even guy man terminology
Yes,
now.
you are.
Like
Yeah,
I'm getting so much better at all of that.
yeah.
And it does feel empowering.
Good. That's what I'm
So
here for.
thank you.
You are.
Yeah, you are.
I'll
You
talk
are.
to you soon. I will talk to you
Okay,
soon. Bye, Holly.
bye.
Bye, love.